Hello and welcome to the Watchin It Podcast. On today's show, we have the finale-ish.
Asterisk.
Asterisk, yes, of Andor Season 2. I'm your host, Donnell. With me is Robert. If this is your first time listening to the podcast, we just, as you'll hear, we like to jump into shows that we watch, kind of give our deep dive into them, review, and our thoughts on it. And we've been doing Andor for the last couple of weeks as it's been coming out. So yeah, just if you like this, tune in for more.
Yeah, and the reason we say this is the series finale, is it is technically the series finale,
Yes.
but it's really just a lead up. I mean, directly into
Well, yeah,
Rogue
100%.
One.
That the ending, I was just like, yep, they're doing it.
Like, the last episode is really just like we're just a prequel, a preamble to Rogue One.
Yeah,
for sure.
So interesting.
But I mean, still great.
Yeah. Oh yeah, still
great.
Still
But
great.
awkward if you haven't ever seen Rogue One or know what's going on there.
Yeah.
Which there's people out there that are probably watching Andor like, this is amazing.
Yeah.
Have no idea it has anything to do with a movie.
Well, so talking about that, it's just funny because looking up Andor online, one of the things you can look up is Andor Season 3. And there's articles like, is Andor canceled?
Yeah, it's already out.
Will there be be a Season 3 or Andor Season 3? Why the latest Star Wars... Oh, no, sorry. This one is, will there be an Andor Season 3? Creator Tony Gilroy puts the Star Wars series to bed. Like, it was put to bed before it even started.
Yeah.
We all knew. Most people who are fans.
I mean, so technically, yes.
Yeah.
But, I mean, you could do more story, like, between these seasons.
Yeah.
Like, there's other stuff you could do, but Andor is almost like its own mythos.
Outside
of the fact that it's the name of a character.
Yeah.
Because they call him Cassian. Every now and then they call him Andor.
Yeah. And as we'll talk about with this episode, there are literally episodes where he doesn't even appear.
Yeah. I don't know why. Like, some of the best Star Wars episodes are when the main character of the show isn't there.
Yeah.
It's like the Book of Boba Fett. Best episodes where he was not there. It was all about the Mandalorian. But no, I mean, it's almost like you could just keep creating more Andor and just be like, that's just the name of this group of shows.
Yeah.
And just like, but keep them in the same quality and feel, where it's like the everyman.
Yeah.
Not the Jedis.
Not
it's
the Jedis
Andor.
and the
Andors. We're all the Andors.
Yeah.
All the low level people,
The normal
all
people,
important to the greater scheme. But I mean, really, like
so
Cassian is like, he's gonna go into Rogue One.
Yep.
Spoilers, by the way. And he's gonna help get the data.
Yeah.
For the Death Star, and then he's gonna die.
Yep.
At the end. Spoilers. And
you're ruining everything, Robert.
But he's not the main. He's just a cog in the machine.
Yeah.
All feeding into Luke Skywalker.
Yeah.
You know, like he's the real. This is just the stories of the people who assisted the Jedi.
Yeah. But it also does, at least, like I said, after Rogue One, like this Andor series does. Because, like I said, with Rogue One, which I always said they did a really good job, too. Rogue One is a movie that when they made it, it was like, this is a prequel. Everybody, because we knew how New Hope starts, everybody in this movie is going to die. And the fact that they made in that movie, in that time frame, they were able to make us actually connect with these characters and like them and want them to exist. So when we lost them at the end, it was like, man, damn, that sucked, that sacrifice. But Andor just kind of goes back and also just like reinforces more of who he is and makes you more connected to him and just seeing a lot more of where he came from. Like when he shows up in the movie, it's great, and you do grow to like him, especially because he got Kay with him and stuff. Which glad to have him for the last couple episodes too. But yeah, like it's one of those things like it just kind of. I don't know, develops the character more. Where you're just like, it's just you feel his impact a little. Like in Rogue One, he had impact, but with Andor, you see like, well, he's been doing this rebel thing for a year. Like he's sacrificed so much and he's done so much, and like, it's interesting.
I mean, they call it Andor, but it really could have been just called Start of the Rebellion.
Yeah.
That's what it is. It's a story about how the rebellion was formed.
Maybe they could call it Rebels.
That's true. That's good. That's real good. I wish I still knew the name of the video, but there's a good video that we talked about when we were covering Ahsoka.
Mm-hmm.
That's like it goes through what happened in Rebels in like 15 minutes and
Yeah.
gives you like the whole story and backstory and stuff. Because Rebels, not great. It's a kid's show
Yeah, yeah.
for sure, but it's got a lot of
It
really
it does have a
important
lot of
lore.
yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's one of those things
Like it's got
a
canon.
lot of stuff developed in Rebels
Yeah.
that people have no idea where it came from or know about because yeah, a lot of people aren't going to go back and watch a kids show,
Yeah.
but because most
A
time a kids
badly
show,
animated kid
yeah,
show.
exactly. Most time a badly animated kids show isn't going to have vital information to the greater lore of the universe, Star Wars
Yeah.
universe. But in this case, like no, it actually a lot of pivotal things happen in Rebels. That is
Yeah.
like,
Oh man. It sucks that we got rid of Legends,
mm-hmm.
but like I mean Andor's so good. So before we get into it,
Yeah, yeah,
so we've got like all the copyright stuff.
yeah.
And I think like what we need to do is do for TV and movies and other they need to Disney needs to unleash the reins a little bit
Mm-hmm.
and create the council like they did for Legends stuff. So there used to be extended universe
Yep.
for listeners that don't know and aren't steeped in the Star Wars. And I by no means am I super into the Star Wars lore
Yep.
and stuff, but I understand the concept. They had a whole bunch of books. Like any character you saw on screen in any movie,
Yeah.
there's
Most
a
likely
book
had a
about them.
backstory.
There's
Yeah.
a whole book or maybe book series
Yeah.
about them. Like a random person smoking a cigarette at the bar at Mos Eisley.
Yep.
Every single person in most character, alien, whatever, droid.
Bebo Max, the freaking guy
Yeah,
playing in the freaking
yeah,
cantina. He has some books.
yeah. They all have books about their whole life. And
Mm-hmm.
and that was the extended universe, which when it got taken over by Disney, it got turned into Legends.
Yes.
But the way that the extended universe worked is there was like a council or something that approved your story framework.
Yeah.
So very famously, there was one where they wanted to kill Chewbacca,
Mm.
and they had to go to this council, this group, and be like, "I want to kill Chewbacca," and they had to approve it,
Yeah.
right?
Did it get
Because that's
approved?
it did.
Oh.
It did. A moon fell on him. I'd watch that movie, but
Yeah.
I mean, if we could do that now, where it's just like Disney has a
Yeah.
group, a council of Star Wars,
Mm-hmm.
a Senate or something, that's like, okay, here's the grand universe. Anybody can make a property about any side character they want,
Yeah.
but we gotta approve the frame,
Yeah.
and then you can work within that. I think that would really give. I mean, because it's so expansive.
Mm-hmm.
Right, and Andor really showed that that could work. You could
Yeah.
just not focus on the main S
Exactly. Like
Skywalkers.
Disney could still be, running the main storyline, but just kind of yeah, like I mean, yeah, it'd be like a licensing thing because obviously Disney got to get their money from it and stuff. But yeah, just make it where like other creators, directors,
Yeah.
and even books
I
and
mean, I
stuff
think they should do that with
could
the
come in.
MCU.
Yeah.
Let some people have some free reign and go and make some side stories,
Mm-hmm.
like, show us what's going on in, Timbuktu, Kansas,
Yeah.
with
Yeah.
their local superhero or something, or mutant or,
Yeah.
I mean, just a lot of opportunities.
I mean, talking about Timbuktu, Kansas, even though this is, I mean, he's from the South, more Bama, but still, New Orleans actually. But what I was
That's a
gonna say,
Louisiana.
yeah. But what I was gonna say is, did you see that Channing Tatum is part of the
Oh,
next
he's gonna be
Avenger
Gambit.
movie?
He's
Yeah,
gonna be Gambit. Yeah,
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 yeah.
yeah. I
Like
mean, how could they not?
I just love,
He might have been the best thing about Daredevil
yeah,
Wolverine.
I just love how it was like I want to play Gambit, never got the chance to, it was like passed around, and then Ryan Reynolds decides to make the Wolverine Daredevil movie, and they're like, well, we're going to be bringing in some legacy characters like Elektra and Blade, and then they're like, you know what? Even though he never actually played Gambit, let's bring him in with them too. He comes in for his little bit, and they're like, you know what? I think we got
I
something
mean,
here.
it wouldn't have happened if it wasn't Ryan Reynolds.
Yeah. Oh,
Because Ryan
100%.
Reynolds was just like,
I mean,
okay,
same with
that sounds off the wall. You want to do it, bro? Let's get you in.
yeah,
Like,
yeah. I mean, that's the thing is, I think with that Deadpool Wolverine movie, I know we're off
I
topic,
can
but
see
with that
James
Deadpool,
Gunn maybe doing it too, but
yeah.
it's almost too wacky for James Gunn.
But yeah, there's how much Ryan Reynolds got done with that movie because like just I don't think Wesley Snipes as Blade would have ever happened in the
Yeah,
Disney MCU.
yeah.
That stuff definitely not Elektra. No one would have called for it either. But still, it was fine stuff. Or even like the Johnny Storm,
Oh yeah,
Chris Evans,
yeah.
like so much stuff was just great with
Oh,
that.
so good, so good. Okay,
All right,
we got to talk about
exactly.
this.
We gotta get into
Season
Andor.
season 2, episode 10 starts out 1 year later in BBY1.
Yeah.
I got a question about
You're
timeline.
not gonna say the name. You said episode 10.
Oh,
You
yeah,
looked them
sorry,
up.
sorry. Make it stop. Make it stop is the name
Yeah.
of the episode. So it says it's BBY1, so that's
1 year.
before Battle of Yavin
Yes.
1.
Yes.
Now this goes straight into him flying off to Jedha,
Mm-hmm.
which is where Rogue One starts.
Yep.
Well, not technically where Rogue One starts, but pretty close.
Yeah.
It ends Rogue One with the Carillion Corvette
Yes.
with Leia on it,
Right.
where Episode 4 begins, A New Hope.
Right.
It did not take a year between him flying off to Jedha
I mean,
to when they had the Battle of Yavin. So this should be BBY 0.
maybe. Well, no, because that's the thing
Because is
is,
there just no 0 in the before and after the Battle of Yavin?
most time not. Like like if you look at with the how we have BC and AC or AD. Yeah. AC DC. No,
Oh, that's so good. That's
but
so good.
still, anyways,
Was there no year
no,
0?
there's no zero. It goes from BC1 to 81. Like it just turns over. There's zeros don't exist for whatever reason.
Somebody was born that year. Some stuff happened in year 0 that we erased from the calendar, okay? You know what? It's 2024. I made a decision.
Robert's just
We
gonna
skipped
live
it.
his life.
We skipped a year. That's just like the millennium. You know what? That's funny because I remember, like, the millennium was like
Mm-hmm.
2000,
Yeah.
but it really wasn't
No.
because we started year 1.
Mm-hmm.
It's really 2001
Yep.
was the millennium.
Yep.
Anyway. Okay, rant over.
Yeah.
We start out with the shop
Yep.
where a message is coming in.
Yep. Coming in from our guy Lonnie,
Yep.
who's our Imperial
No,
our
Jung.
rebel spy.
Wait.
Well, Lonnie Jung.
Okay. Oh,
Yeah,
I
yeah,
didn't know his
sorry.
first name.
Yeah, sorry.
Okay, fair enough. Fair enough. Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, he's our. I guess I was gonna say Imperial spy, but no, he's technically a rebel spy in the Imperial ISP.
He's not he's an asset.
He's an
He
asset.
is not doing this out of the for the cause.
No, no.
Luthen has dirt on him or something.
Oh yeah, he has dirt on
I
him.
don't remember what he has on Jung or why Jung's been co-opted into this, but he is an unwilling
Yeah,
participant.
he had dirt on him, and then also
Until
now,
now.
yeah.
Now I think he's a willing participant.
But
He's
he's a
seen
willing participant by circumstance still. Like
yeah.
in the sense of like, yeah, it's because he's seen, and then he also now that he's seen, because I imagine like if there was a way, if Jung after he sees what the Empire is doing, if there was a way where he's like, I can just get my family and leave and not like just flee out to some corner of the galaxy and live my life, I imagine he would do that. But he knows it's like, no, there's no survival other than joining the rebellion now. Like that's what I think was
Yeah.
that's what I mean by circumstances. He still after he sees what the Empire is doing, I just think he's like, oh, I'm done with this. I want to leave. And the fact of the matter is the only way he can leave and live.
Well, they were also he mentions that they were on his trail. Like
Yes.
they were looking into him and it was only a
Exactly.
matter of
And then
time.
he kind of burned himself when he
Well,
used
yeah, he was
which we'll
basically
get to,
like
yeah.
he's like they're coming for me. So I've got an opportunity. I'm gonna get enough information to buy myself off the planet
Yep.
and out of this predicament.
Yep.
But I think to some degree when he sees what it is,
Mhm.
what's really going on, he's like, "Oh, this has got to stop. I gotta
Yeah.
do
Yeah.
something about this."
Yeah, so he calls in to Luthen's store and basically asks for a meetup in public, which is not how they normally do. It's usually in some weird elevator shaft. I don't even know where that is, but that's where they keep meeting up. But anyways, yeah, for a meetup in public that Kayla is like this could be a trap, but Luthen feels like it's worth
Kalia,
Kalia, sorry.
Kalia,
Yes.
Kalia,
Kalia.
yeah,
I got some word for her
Kalia,
in this
not
episode.
Kalia,
Yeah.
Kalia,
Clea. Clea.
Klaeaye. Yeah,
Clea.
excellent.
Anyways. Yeah. But yeah, so Luthen goes to meet with him, and basically, like I said, he gives up the dirt on the Death Star that, they're not
Yeah, but
not
doesn't name it the Death Star. That there's a weapon. That this is
Yes.
all this stuff that's been happening culminates in.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah. So Luthen goes back. Luthen kills him.
Yeah, which I was a little sad for. Like, even though I know he was a bad guy and was coerced into this, I did feel like how much Lonnie talked about his family and he was worried about them. Like, I just feel like it said it not saying it's Nazi sympathizer or anything, but there were people who were like brought into the Nazi military who were like, "I'm just a dude," and now they're fighting a war, and I'm from Germany, so now I'm fighting this war and stuff. And like I said, I'm not saying you should still push back against things, but there are just normal guys part of the Nazi army, and that's how I feel about Lonnie. Like he's just a normal guy who has a family who just wants to take care of his family, and now he's mixed up in all this.
Yeah, but he's kind of a high up
He is.
guy.
He was
He was
decently.
very much he's in the
He
Gestapo.
did make it.
He
Yeah,
not
he
he's
did
not
make it
just
high enough
a
up.
kid on the front lines, you
True.
know?
True.
It's like if you're, a guard at Auschwitz,
Yeah.
like you're in the Death Star
You're there.
and
Yeah.
you're making a choice. I mean, I know I mean you can get into weird discussion. There's a lot of discussion to be had, but at the end of the day, I like the
If you make it to a part where
I
you
you can't let
have
me end on I like the after I talked about guards at Auschwitz, Donnell. You really got to let me
no, we're
finish my
moving
thought,
on. I'll say
okay?
so. Anyways,
Okay.
Deidre.
No, I like the discussion in Clerks where it's
Mm,
like, was it okay to blow up the Death Star with all of the troops in it? Because they were just like
yeah.
regular soldiers,
Mm-hmm.
not everybody. And what I was thinking about as I watched the show is like, dude, what? I need I need a series on like the people just working on the Death Star
Yeah.
and just talking about like I work on the Death Star
Yeah.
because there's like the guys with like the weird black slopey helmets
Mm-hmm.
that like actually fire the
Yeah.
weapon
Fire the gun.
at a planet
Yep.
with billions or
The
not
people.
trillions of
Yeah.
people. I need their backstories. Like,
No,
how did
like
they get
yeah.
into the position? Are they true believers or do they not even know what they're doing somehow?
They
Like, did
how
they?
could you not? I
No,
mean, I
you
can
know,
understand
no.
not knowing until you pulled the lever, but once you
I
blew up a planet, you're
No.
kind of in the know.
Here's how but you they I would here's how the story would go for me.
Okay. Okay.
Okay? These people are approached by like
Mm-hmm.
a CIA super secretive kind of group
Yep. Yep.
and we're like, they've been through the background checks whatever,
Mm-hmm.
right? We need you and this is like for like 3 months, you
Yeah.
know, you've got to come and you've got to work in this isolated container
Yeah.
and then you're done, right? And they're just shuffling people in and out.
Mm-hmm.
And they black bag you, maybe do something that like puts you to sleep, and all of a sudden you wake up in an isolated, no doors in or out area of the Death Star.
Yeah.
They don't know.
Yeah.
They just know they've woken up in a room and they have instructions that if that light beeps, you press this button.
Yeah. Move some levers, push this
They got
button.
no idea what they're doing. They just train on it all day. Every
Yeah.
day, the light comes on a certain number of times and they push the button. Most of the time, it does nothing.
Yeah.
Then every now and then, it blows up a planet. They don't know.
Yeah.
They just push the button when the light blinked.
Yeah.
3 months, they get to go home.
Yep.
Or they kill them,
Yeah.
like they do in The Gorge,
Mhm.
where it's like,
Mhm.
okay, your turn's over, dead. We
Yep.
can't let this get out. But that's the only way I see it working.
Yeah.
Because there's like one thing to like be like, okay, there's guys in a bunker, they're not going to push the button to release the nukes.
Mhm.
The guys on the Death Star that push the button to fire the laser.
Yeah.
And that takes a whole team of people. Like, oh, that would be such a good story.
Mhm.
Where's my Andor season 3 about those guys that shoot the laser in the Death Star? Anyway,
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, the Death Star is a huge like talk because you see all the soldiers and of course Darth Vader and like all the imperial people and stuff. But like the Death Star is a huge, essentially floating
I mean,
planet.
it's a moon.
They're
It's the
they're
size of the moon, right?
some yeah. So and people are living there. So like somewhere in there is a food court where there's a guy
There's a lot
making
of them.
exactly
There's a
making
lot of them.
sandwiches. Like
Yeah.
that's he's not firing lasers. He's not trained to shoot blasters. He's just making sandwiches.
I
There's a
mean, I
laundromat somewhere in here. Like there's a lot of just normal services
oh yeah.
going on
Yeah,
where they're
tons of
just
them.
I'm just
Most of it's probably done by droids though.
true.
Remember
True.
remember the chef droid from
Mm-hmm.
I don't know which show or whatever.
Yeah.
That was good. The chef droid with all the knives. That was a good fight.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um But no, I mean, for all we know, like your average stormtrooper has no idea. They may think it's just a massive space station.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
They may have no
Oh yeah.
idea that it actually has a weapon that can destroy a planet on it.
You show up to the Death Star your first day, you're just like, oh, this is like, yeah,
I mean, yeah, it's
we
like
got a movable moon. That's cool.
I just don't know how else I don't know how else it works. Like, yeah, if you're on the Death Star and you know what it can do,
Mm-hmm.
and you're not like one of the psychopaths
Yeah, a evil bastard.
that's in charge that put it together, like the Grubels or whatever,
Yeah.
like there's a rebellion. I mean, it's a
Mm-hmm.
big there's I want to know how big. There's so many questions. We're getting off topic,
I know.
but it's fun to talk
But
about.
I mean, that's what
But like, how many
Andor.
people work on the Death Star?
Yeah.
100,000?
Oh, I feel like more. I mean,
Let's say 500,000.
okay, yeah, yeah,
500,000. That's a rebellion, right?
yeah.
The rebellion may not be even 500,000 strong.
Mm-mm.
Like,
Yeah.
where's the rebellion within the Death Star?
Mm-hmm.
Like, just like
Mm-hmm.
it's like this ain't cool,
Feeling like,
guys.
whoa, 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 whoa. Did you see what we did yesterday?
Yeah,
Like, I was just here to I'm just fixing droids.
yeah, yeah. No, there's like
We
500,000.
blew up
Let's
a
say
planet.
500,000 people on the Death Star. There's got to be at least 5,000. So 1%
Mm-hmm.
that are like, this has got to stop,
Yeah.
and I'm willing to blow this thing
Blow this
blow
thing
this
up.
mother up and take me and everybody else out with me to stop it.
Yeah.
And it only takes one guy to get to the right place and push
Yeah.
the right button to make that happen.
Mm-hmm.
Just drop a wrench down the right hole and the whole thing blows up.
Yep. Yep.
Anyway, okay,
Back to the story
back to
that
the show.
we have.
Yeah. Luthen goes back to the shop. He lets Clea know the information that he was given. He's gonna
Yep.
go back and burn the place to the ground,
Yep.
tear everything down, destroy the evidence, kind of stuff. He
Yeah.
does.
Clea tries to convince him, like, no, let me do it. But it's very clear that Luthen knows, like, there's no getting out of this sort of thing.
Yeah, because they know they believe that Deidre's after him
Yep.
at this point. Um, and yeah, so he does, and then Deidre shows up.
Yep.
And I love this little cat and mouse thing where
Mm-hmm.
she's like pretending to be a customer. He knows
He's
exactly who she
he's
is.
pretending to be the
Yeah.
gracious store owner.
Yeah. What a great job Skarsgård did with this
Mm-hmm.
character through season 1 and 2 of just like
Yes.
the two personas. Very good. But Deidre, that actress,
Mm-hmm.
just amazing. I wish I had kept up her name, and I feel bad that I didn't. And I'm trying to pull it up on my phone
And
before I
Donnell
finish
will have it
talking.
right here because he's on the Wikipedia right now.
I already had it up. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I'm in
Denise
recurring. Yeah,
Ghost.
Denise.
Ghost.
Ghost.
Gough.
I think that I think Denise Ghost.
Yeah, she hadn't really been in anything
Yep.
prior to this. I mean, she's had work.
Mm-hmm.
She's
Mm-hmm.
gotten jobs, but
Yep.
nothing really big. I mean, like the biggest thing that I noticed in her profile is that she was voiced Yennefer in Witcher 3
Mm-hmm.
video game. Like,
Mm-hmm.
but I mean, in these 3 episodes especially, but
Yeah.
also the whole series, just
I mean,
amazing actress,
I
and I
want to.
cannot wait to see her in future stuff. Yeah,
Well, that was gonna say I want to say that about like
everybody.
because that thing is like Diego Luna who plays Andor. When you look at his IMDb, I mean he's been in
Boy, that
a bunch
hair,
of stuff.
his picture on IMDb with the long hair, I'm like, I
Mm-hmm.
can't with that.
But I'm just like, where's this man at? Why? Let's get him in some more roles and
Yeah.
stuff and like just so many of the people. The guy who played Cyril.
I mean, he's from Rogue One. I mean, he's
Well, yeah, I know, but that's
yeah,
like he was in Rogue One. Let's get him in some more stuff. But yeah, the guy who played Cyril,
yeah.
his IMDb not too much there,
I mean,
and
this
I'm
is
just
good,
like,
just good directing.
yes,
Yeah,
100%.
good character development.
Yes, well written characters with good directing, and yeah, it really pays off. But anyways, so back in, so yeah, they have a confrontation. And Deidre outs that she knows who Luthen is, and Luthen kind of or I don't know if he distracts her or if she just realizes he's burning everything down in the back.
Yeah,
And when she turns back, Luthen has tried to kill himself. And I'm not saying I'm an expert because I'm still alive.
I'm with you, Donnell. I'm with
But
you.
I'm like, Luthen, if you are killing yourself, there's a lot better, more effective, and quicker ways than a stab to the gut.
Yeah,
I'm like,
I'm like, first of all, have you not read? I mean, he is a knowledgeable fella
mm-hmm,
about ancient things.
yes.
Seppuku
Mhm.
hasn't been developed in this galaxy. Like, you don't just
Exactly.
stab,
You
you rip.
you rip intestines out. You gotta. I'm just like Luthen, buddy. You are way too
Yeah.
vital and have way too much
Also,
information to
yeah.
survive.
I mean, he is resigned to kill himself.
Yes.
I mean, he does it silently.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just like, her back is turned.
Yeah.
You are setting that knife butt down on a table and ramming it into the bottom of your mouth into your brain.
Yes. Yes. Like I said, not saying I'm an expert,
Yeah.
but I feel like
No,
there's
I'm
more
with you.
effective
I'm with you,
ways to
Donnell.
get it over with.
If I'm in his position and I have his resolve, there
Yes.
is no chance that they are saving me.
Exactly.
No back to tank in this world is gonna keep
Exactly.
me
I making
gonna
sure
bring me back.
Luthen is checked
I'm
out.
gonna be a force ghost. Yeah, I love the stretcher droid.
Yeah.
That was like such. It's like, what is my purpose? You are a stretcher. Oh my god! Like he has. I mean, he can fly around and stuff, but
Yeah.
that stretcher droid,
You ain't doing anything else any other
that's a
time.
boring existence.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, I guess, I
he
don't know.
can fly.
Yeah,
You
you
know.
could probably load a couple boxes on top of it and move them around.
I want to see the stretcher droid at the droid bar.
Yes. Oh, what show was it that had the droid bar in it?
That was definitely a Book of Boba.
Yeah, okay.
No, yeah, no, it was Book of Boba because he went
Okay.
to investigate the thing.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
I just, yeah. I like the weird lore
No,
that's been
was it?
added.
No, that was Obi-Wan.
Yes, it was Obi-Wan.
Obi-Wan. Man, there's
Yeah.
so many. It's hard to keep track of the
Mhm.
shows because so many of them are bad and so many are good and stuff.
Yep.
But oh,
And
that
they
that
somewhat
whole
blend
droid.
together sometimes.
Where is my series? My Cheers level series.
Of a droid
I
bar.
would watch 24 episodes of just life in the droid bar.
Life at the droid bar.
Yeah, every now a meat sack walks in
Yeah.
and
Everybody's like, "What's he doing here?"
oh man.
Uh,
Can I just jump forward to like because we get like no Andor or K robot or anything in this,
yeah.
but like the K robot in this, I
Mhm.
was just like, where is my HK-47 series?
Yes.
Oh,
Yes.
so much I need an HK-47. I mean, I know we have it with the video games, and you can go watch hours of his dialogue, which is
Mhm.
fantastic from that game. But I need something that like I can share with the rest of the world because
Yeah.
nobody's going back in time.
N
Well, some people are, but the
The
most the
majority
majority of the world is not going back to like
relive.
play a game from 25 years ago or
Yeah.
whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway.
They're trying to save Luthen. They get him out of there. Deidre takes him to the hospital. And during this episode, we kind of get to see the backstory of Luthen and Kayla.
Yeah, yeah. She basically goes back to the safe house,
Yeah.
which is all like kind of rotted.
Run
Like
down.
nobody's
Yeah.
using it in
No
a
one's
long
used
time.
it in a while.
And she's starting to tear apart the walls and the pillars and stuff,
Yeah.
trying to put together some device.
Mm-hmm.
And the whole time she's reminiscing on how she met
Yeah.
and got involved with Luthen. And it's a great story.
Mm-hmm.
She's Luthen is an officer in the Republic Army or
So
something.
I didn't know this. So looking up, I kind of got this feeling that maybe it was. No, he's an officer in the Imperial Army.
Oh, okay.
So he was part of the Empire
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
to
Okay.
start.
That's what I
But
thought, but I was like, was there an Imperial
yeah,
Army when he was that age? Anyway, he's there. He's some kind of officer,
yep.
like a
He's
sergeant
a
or something.
sergeant.
Yeah, yeah.
Yep. Yep.
And they're doing some kind of massacre
Yep.
outside. He's in the ship and he's PTSD,
You're
shell
talking
shocked,
about
losing it.
you're
Yeah.
talking about the guy in the Death Star who sees what they're doing and being like, "Oh, I can't do this."
Yeah.
That's Luthen. Is he's
Yeah.
in there and he's
Yeah.
like, "Whoa, hold up." um, and so yeah, he's stepping away from it and he finds her hiding on his ship
Yep. She's
and
in some kind of like
storage
storage
bay. Yeah.
compartment or something. And he decides to save her.
Yep.
And I guess he walks away from the military or something,
Yep.
takes her with him, kind of not really adopts her, but makes him her starts
His
teaching her
ward,
stuff.
I would
Yeah.
say. And
And
yeah, starts teaching him the ways of the spycraft in a
yeah.
sense. And I do like watching as like kind of like her final test as we're watching where they're like at some cafe
Oh yeah.
just stuff and he pulls out a detonator and puts it on the table and he's like, if you're really about this, like you can walk away still. Like he basically pretends like you can walk away. I don't know, we'll find you a family or something and you can just live a life, you know.
Yeah.
You don't have to follow me down this path. But see reaches for the detonator and he still stops her. He's like, okay, well, I see you're committed, but I'll push the button. um and yeah, just kind of her journey to become, because as like we said, we've seen how loyal she is to Luthen, and we've seen also like how skilled she is and how, like to see everyone calls her his assistant, which I mean
Yeah.
she is, but like she was also something more. And then
It's more
we
like a
get to
daughter
yeah, we
situation.
get to
Yeah.
see how she got to be
Yeah.
that.
Awesome. Awesome. Yeah, I love when he does the detonator thing, and she immediately looks, and
And
he's
he's
like,
like,
"No, look
"No."
at me.
He's like, "Look
You
at
don't
me."
try like, you're not supposed to know that
Yeah,
that's about to
exactly.
happen. You turn
And then he's like,
when
"Now
it
look."
does." And I also like when they're on the stairs and, like, there's about to be this civilian
Yeah,
execution by
public
stormtroopers,
execution, yeah.
and she's just like, "I'm gonna watch this."
Mhm.
Like, she's like, "I'm gonna force myself to watch as a reminder of why I'm doing this,"
Yep.
and a
Cement
recommitment
her
to
resolve.
to what she's doing. Yeah, just, well told
Yeah.
and well shot and everything. Um, then we come back to, Deidre at the hospital. They've shut down the
Yep.
hospital because for Luthen, they've
Yeah.
got him in some
This is
sort
a
of, like, iron
top.
lung machine,
Yeah.
whatnot, and ISB comes and arrest her
Yes.
because she has gone off the reservation with going
Mhm.
after Luthen. She's overstepped her
Yes, the
bounds.
Luthen case was handed over to, I can't remember his name now. Basically one of the other guys, the guy who was hanging out with
The friend of
Jung.
Jung, yeah.
I love how later on when once it's kind of outed that Jung was the spy, he's like, "Jung wasn't my friend." I'm like, "Dude, you were pretty
Yeah.
chummy with Jung. We watched you hanging out. You were at the party having a good time." Like, I'm like, "You guys were friends." But
Hurt.
Hurt, yes,
Hurt is
yes.
the name. Yes,
Yes.
yes.
But yeah, so he has, because like I said, the Luthen case was essentially handed to him. Deidre was supposed to be working on other stuff, hands off. But she went ahead and pulled off this thing. I do like when they call her out because it is something to think about, but it's because she wanted to have her moment in a sense. But like she went and while she did have Luthen stop surrounded, she went in alone and stuff
Yeah.
where it's like, no, you could have had other people in there with you and not made a spectacle of it, and had it been, where he couldn't try to commit suicide because there were three, stormtroopers watching him the whole time while you were talking to him. But no, you wanted to do it your way, and that's why we're in this situation. And it is true because, like I said, if she would have, like I said, if you had it surrounded, why didn't you bring some backup? Why didn't you bring a few guys in with you?
Yeah.
But anyways, so she gets arrested.
Meanwhile,
Yeah.
Clea is working on the Hitman mission from hell,
Yes.
where she's got to infiltrate the hospital,
Yeah.
uh, with all these guards around. I'm like, this would be a good video game
Yeah.
level.
Yeah.
Like where's that video game? Where's the
The
Hitman slash Metal Gear Solid Star
Star
Wars
Wars
game?
game, yeah.
I mean, this episode is maybe up there with one of my favorites
Mhm.
for Star Wars. I mean, it's really good, except for this alien grandma in the
Yeah,
wheelchair. That kind of took it out. I mean, it works,
it works.
but it
And
kind of
I did
took it
also
out for me.
and I did have this thought of like, this poor alien
Yeah,
is just like, because she's like, you could tell like this alien is not, fully there and can't communicate exactly what she wants. And I'm like, you just drop it. Like, I know you got a very important mission, and Luthen does need to die because he couldn't finish himself off. So, like, we gotta take care of this. But like this alien, like this hospital is gonna be in chaos, and like who knows when she's gonna get back to her right floor, get her
yeah.
medication,
Some
and stuff.
finder, yeah.
Someone's gonna find her and like, what are you doing here? I'm just like, you just ruined this.
Yeah, they're gonna be like, "Oh, you wandered off again, Grandma. It's time for the home." And she's like, "No, I was taken." And she's like, "Sure you were.
Sure,
The magic
sure.
lady showed up." And I also like that it's Star Wars. They can't have cubbies
Yeah.
or
No,
regular
no, it's this
square lockers.
cool
They gotta have
bold
spears.
spear that opens up with a special door. Yeah. But anyways, yeah. So she disguises herself as a nurse. She sneaks through multiple places. I love that one of the techniques she uses, a technique I've always said, if you want to blend in, grab yourself a clipboard and act like you know what you're
That's
doing.
why. Yeah, exactly, exactly.
That is one of the best. If you need to disguise yourself in a situation, clipboard and just confidence. That will get you far. But yeah, she manages to get there, and then she causes a distraction by blowing up a bunch of ships down the landing bay. Um, and she manages to get
An
to,
old favorite of hers.
yes,
Yeah, yeah.
and then she manages to get to Luthen and
Kills him.
kills him. I mean, very,
I was not. I
very.
thought she was moving in to save him the
Oh,
who
I knew
episode.
she was killed there to kill
Oh
him.
no,
I
not
knew
for me.
Luthen was pat. Like,
That's
I was like, there's no way to get him out alive with what condition he's in. And so I'm like, if she's going in to see Luthen, she's not going in to say, "Hey, farewell," or anything. Like, she's there to.
no. I
I mean,
mean,
and
I
that
was.
thing is that we see like the way she was raised. Like, Luthen and her were the spycraft branch of the rebellion and stuff.
Yeah,
And like, you're not trained to rescue spycraft. You're
yeah. I mean,
collect
I
and
get you.
dispose.
I get you, and it makes sense in hindsight. But when I was watching it, I really thought that they were like building up the whole. This is like a father figure to her. She's not leaving him behind.
Yeah.
kind of stuff. So when she actually went in there and then just kills him and
Mhm.
leaves, I was very shocked
Yeah.
and being like, "Oh, dang." Like, I can't believe like, I mean, it makes sense. Like,
It's what Luthen would have
she
wanted
can't
too.
there's no way for her to get him out of there
Yep.
because he's living off the machines and
Mhm.
he knows too much and can't be put through interrogation. So she's doing what he would have wanted her to do,
Yep.
make sure that he's silenced.
Yep.
And that was really the cherry on the sad Sunday of this episode that really made it like sealed it for me. Like, oh, this is really just something special, really, really amazing. Great episode.
Yep. Yep. All right, so then we move on to our next episode, uh, called "Who Knows?" Who else knows? Um, and we pick up with, as we mentioned in the previous episode, Deidre was arrested. We pick up with her being interrogated by Krennic. I did not realize, like, and I don't know the official like lay of the of the badges, but like all the officers have a
Yeah,
badge on, and like I didn't realize Krennic was higher than what's his face,
Target.
no, not Targan, the boss, the like Deidre's boss.
Oh yeah, 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 yeah,
Start with a P. Partagaz.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Partagaz.
Party
Yeah, I
guys.
didn't
Yeah.
realize Krennic was higher up in this.
Oh, Partagas, that actor did such a good job.
Oh yeah, he
Oh,
did.
everybody,
Yeah.
everybody, everybody did an amazing
Um,
job.
but yeah, so he basically digs into her for um everything she did wrong, also thinking that she may have voluntarily given her credentials
Yeah.
to
Don't trust
those.
anyone,
Yeah.
man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, that's one thing, the theme of this episode I noticed is like when you're working in the spy ring, both with the ISB and then also like watching Clea and her her response to people
Mhm.
is like you don't know, everyone is suspect, like everyone is, when you're that deep into into spycraft, it's like, yeah, you can't trust, no, you can't trust anybody. Like there's no, I think the only person Clea truly trusted was Luthen. Everybody else in the rebellion, who knows? And it's like I said, in the ISB, how quickly what's his name, Hertz turned
Yeah.
on on Lonnie, how quickly like everyone, even though for a little bit DJ was kind of on the rise of success with what she
Yeah.
was doing, everybody turns on her, including Partacaz. Like it's like, yeah, when you're in the spycraft industry, you don't have friends, you don't trust anybody
Yeah.
because it's all about cloak and dagger all the time. Um, but yeah, they basically are trying to pin Lonnie on her also.
Yeah.
Um,
We cut to Clea. She's put together a device,
mhm.
which is kind of like a subspace Morse
Morse
code
code, yeah.
machine. Yeah, yeah, yeah. And she sends out a signal, which gets received by
W-
Yavin,
yeah,
and Wilmon,
yeah,
who has the device. Um, we get a brief, fun scene of Cass and another guy and
yeah.
K2S0
Playing
playing,
some gambling game.
yeah,
Um,
with dice, not dice, but
with
tiles,
what are they called?
dominoes,
Dominoes. There we
dominoes kind
go.
of thing,
Yeah,
and it's great. So it's been a year.
yeah.
Oh boy, I would take that year
I
to
know.
see him and
And
so I mean I hate
well,
it
so
because later in the episode or no, at the beginning of the next episode, Kay, the robot, is like, so I proven myself. I'm
yeah.
like, he hasn't proven himself in the last year?
I mean, I think it's just just a reminder. Maybe they've worked a lot together, and it's obvious that they have a friendship and stuff, but maybe it's just, like kind of a running joke with them, ever since he's been woken up. But I want to point out the other dude, though, in their group, Melcy, because I had to sit there and be like, once again, it just goes to how this show has been played out. Is like, I was like, have we seen Melcy? Do we know anything about Melcy?
I'm sure
No.
there's a book about
Oh yeah,
him.
and stuff like all this stuff. I was like, no, he has not been in the series until this episode. But like, we can tell right away, like, oh no, he's like one of Cassian's like most confidants.
Yeah.
He's obviously been running missions with him and Kay and stuff. I did think though at one point, I was like, Oh, Melcy's gonna get that treatment though. Like they introduced him just to die. Like I thought for sure he was gonna die during the escape. It's like, yeah, here we can't kill Cassian, obviously, and we can't kill Kay because they're both gonna be in Rogue One. But this is a dangerous mission. So here's Melcy. Now Melcy gets shot, but actually Melcy survives.
Yeah.
And for all we know, he survives longer than
Yeah.
Cassian. We don't know what happened with him in the rebellion afterwards.
I love the line here in the scene when he's like, he's trying to droid you.
Yeah.
He's trying to droid logic you.
But yeah, so woman comes and tells them that, yeah, he got some message. It's from Luthen, and Cassian is like, "All right, we're going." He completely ignores all the authority of the rebellion. Steals his ship or takes his ship. They list it as a test flight, so they don't have to have a flight plan registered, which very much annoys
Well,
Kay.
also everything's grounded right now.
Yeah,
Like there's
yeah,
not supposed to be any signals coming in or out.
yep,
Like they're on lockdown on Yavin, as you should be.
yep.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, so they take off for Coruscant to save Luthen, as far as they know. Um, Meanwhile, Hurt, which I mean, I guess it shows Deidre still loyalty to the cause, but
Yeah.
yeah, Hurt, or maybe she just wants to see her mission completed. I don't know which one it is. But anyway, still, Hurt comes to Deidre basically because he realizes like they can't find Luthen's dead and they can't find any evidence and stuff, and he needs to figure out he knows that he had an assistant, but they just cannot track her down. She's too good.
Yeah.
But he knows Deidre's been working this case for a long time. So he knows these people, and she gives him the insight to locate her transmission that she's sending out to
Yeah.
Cassian and them.
Which they find because she's continuously sending the signal.
Yeah, because no one's, and rightly so. Like that's why I actually thought at first, I was like, "What's going on here?" But it's like, yeah, they won't respond back to her because they're like, we
Yeah.
can't.
They can't send an outbound
That will
signal,
locate where we are.
Yeah.
And we can't have them find Yavin. We can't have them find our ship as we're approaching. So it's like, yes, he just had to just keep casting, which I think that's what I think
Well, they
about
do reply when they get in orbit of
yeah,
Coruscant.
Coruscant. But still, my thing is, I just think about how like nerve wracking and just like you're just sending I mean, it's basically like message in the bottle sort of thing when you're on
Yeah.
a desert island. You're like, no one may ever hear this. There may not be someone coming. Like
Yeah.
I'm just casting this out, hoping that someone is going to show up, but I have no way of knowing.
I don't understand. I assume that when you come to Coruscant,
Mm-hmm.
the center of the
Yeah.
political galaxy,
Yep. No,
right?
I
This
was
is like
thinking
you're
this
going to
too.
Washington D.C.
Yep.
There has already been an ISB all points bulletin
Yeah.
mobilize the entire planet
Yep.
to find this person that essentially has COVID.
Yes.
Like this is Typhoid Mary.
Yep.
Is what they're saying. Like she is going to kill thousands
Everyone.
of
Yeah.
people. Yeah. I would imagine they'd be like, no,
Yeah.
nobody gets
No,
to land
no,
right
no,
now.
no ships are
We're in
leaving.
lockdown.
No ships are landing.
Especially she
And
wants to
even
land in the quadrant where
yeah.
she may be. Like,
And then the other thing that gets me is even without, let's just say this is a normal Tuesday on Coruscant. If you're flying into DC, like you got to have a flight plan. You got to let them know where you're going.
yeah.
You can't just fly a plane into DC. And I feel like the fact that they just fly in, and I'm like, I feel like you would have been shot down 25 times before you. Like, I'm just like, but whatever. You must sometimes
Air traffic control for Coruscant must be
nightmare.
insane.
I that's not a job.
You get off that shift and you've got a drink in your hand before you get out the
Yeah,
door.
yeah.
Like,
You're just
you've got death sticks in your pocket. Like, you're like, I gotta unwind
exactly.
after this. Oh my god.
Uh,
Yeah, no, that's the sea of cubicles of the FAA of Coruscant. Oh my god, that would be
that'd be a nightmare.
I could eat up from the plate of Star Wars bureaucracy all day.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, it was just so good.
The craziness of running a galactic empire.
Yeah.
Just gets insane.
Give me the Star Wars Tin Cup. You ever
Mm-hmm.
seen Tin Cup?
I have not seen Tin Cup.
It acceptable.
Okay.
Okay,
Okay.
it's Billy Bob Thornton and John Cusack.
We've talked about Tin Cup before.
Okay, it's a fantastic movie.
Yeah, yeah.
Angelina Jolie during the height of Angelina Jolie and Billy Bob Thornton being a thing.
Yeah.
Maybe that's where they met. Maybe. Well, no, I think they met before that. But anyway, I don't know into the rags. Okay, I don't know. I just know they were a weird couple back in the day before Jennifer Aniston showed up or something. I don't, or
No,
Billy
no.
or Brad Pitt or something.
Yeah, Brad
Yeah,
Pitt.
yeah, yeah. Anyway, it's a whole thing.
Yeah.
Okay, look,
Yeah.
I know
Anyway.
more about it than I want to know. I was dating a girl at the time. She was into it. She told me the whole thing. Right? There were vials of blood. I don't know. You know. Anyway, it's a fantastic movie about people who work in air traffic control,
Yeah.
and they're just like the stress and how they boil it off, and
Mm-hmm.
just their interpersonal relationships and
Yeah.
whatnot. Anyway, just yeah, good times. I'm surprised they let that movie get made because like it was after 9/11 and they were showing planes almost flying into buildings in New
Mm-hmm.
York. I was like, oh man, that's rough. Or maybe it came out just before 9/11, and I was like, I can't believe they didn't make them change this
Yeah.
after that. Anyway, going on, moving on. Yeah, so he shows up at the apartment. He finds out that Luthen is dead. And he's like, she gives him the information, and he's like, we got to get out of here.
Yeah.
And I
I
guess she's just like so upset. She's just like, I just want to. I almost feel like she's kind of like suicidal. Like I just want
a
to
little of that and a little because I
die.
was
Like
so upset with her. Because my thing is like
she's like, I'm not going to Yavin.
yes, he's just and they're wasting so much time. That's the thing is, I was like, just like I was so upset with her because I liked her character a lot, and I was like, this is dumb. This is dumb. Like she's basically it's one of the things. They make it very clear, especially like when they return. Like Luthen had been out on the outs with the rebellion for a little. Like they,
Yeah,
they had moved past the spy and centrifuge stage, where now we're like looking for full scale war, and Luthen that they didn't want him to stay back on Coruscant. We find out, and we find out that basically like he has been kind of a rogue element in the
yeah,
rebellion, along with Saul, both of them kind of. But anyways, in the rebellion, and so she's very distrustful of them. But I was like, at the end of the day, I was like, Clea, I was like, it's like, yeah, sure, the rebellion may not like you, but the Empire hates you. So
yeah,
I'm like,
yeah.
it's the lesser of two evils. Like,
Like
get
you
your
can't
butt
stay on
on the
Coruscant. Yeah,
spaceship. Like, I was just like so mad. I was like, what's your logic? Like, other than like you said, if she wants to kill herself, which I'm like, fine, but also no, there's no need to. But especially when they're here to save you, like I get it. Like especially, and you have the most vital
yeah,
information.
and that information needs to come from her.
Yeah,
Right,
like,
it can't just be like a game of telephone.
mm-hmm.
And also, like, she's I know she's been on Coruscant for a long
Yeah,
time, but, like, she's a nomad at heart.
yeah,
Like, her and Luthen were
yeah,
nomads for a long time.
mm-hmm.
Like, I'm like, "Okay, go get taken
Yeah,
by Andor to
mm-hmm.
Yavin,
Yeah.
give your information, then bounce
Yeah,
anywhere. It's a
and
big
you have
galaxy.
and you definitely have the skills and the resources
Lots of room on the outer rim."
to disappear.
Yeah.
Like you that's what you were trained in. So
But
all
no,
you
I think she's just so distraught. She's just like, "I'm gonna pass on the information and die." And Andor's like, "I'm not letting you
yeah,
stay here. You gotta come with
you
us."
got to come with us.
Meanwhile, they have tracked the signal to the
Yep, yep.
apartment complex, to the
Her
floor.
I love once again uh just seeing the difference like we kind of saw in the first season with Cyril when he goes with a hit squad to try and get Andor the first time and how out of place he is, and we
Yeah,
get the same sort of thing with Hurt here where he's on and you can tell these this is a group of roughnecks, the guys all
yeah.
slams down, so here's your body bulletproof and stuff, and you just see him like I don't know what I'm doing here. Like hurts
I
very
didn't
much.
even these were like stormtroopers, right?
Yeah, they were
Why weren't they
stormtroopers.
wearing helmets? That
Well,
was very
we
odd
got
to
to
me.
see a few times that there's like different because there was a few times there was like people in like half stormtrooper gear. So it was like I don't know, maybe this is like Coruscant police force or something where they don't have the full stormtrooper gear. I don't know. But yeah, it was a little
It
weird.
was weird. It was weird. Maybe the actors were like, "We gotta see our faces.
Yeah.
This is our shot.
Yep.
We can't just be nameless people."
So
Um,
they set up to take the building. I do love kind of just the little bit of comedy you get as they're going through the building, just going to the wrong doors or catching people off guard. And they eventually
well,
end
they're
up at
sweeping it, yeah.
yeah, they eventually end up at where they think it is, and it's just some old couple making like tea. What's
Yeah.
going on?
But they scrambled the comms,
Yep.
and eventually K2, he's been told to stay in the ship, and
Hmm.
he's like, "Nah,
Well, he sees the Imperial ship land, and
yeah,
he's like, "Well,
I gotta get involved."
yep."
And he's such a comic relief.
And just such a great character.
I love the way that they demonstrated the KX robots. I talked about this last time.
Hmm. Yeah.
Just they are brutal.
Yeah.
They are just murder machines, and
Yes.
he is just wiping the full.
Unstoppable
Yeah,
in a lot of ways. Like the normal weapons that people are carrying most of the time aren't doing
Yeah.
squat, you know.
So this episode ends with them closing in. And honestly, like we'll pick up with the next episode, but the first part of the next episode
Mhm.
really could have just been
Then the
tacked.
end of
Should
this
like I know
episode.
they did it for like
The
effect,
yeah.
of like, oh my god, they're closing in. But I'm
Mhm.
like, you could have just resolved
Yeah.
this
I do
part
I do like
before going to the next episode.
when Kay's approaching and they're all on the radio. Like, is this? Did we ask for backup? Did we send this guy and all this stuff? And then finally, one of the guys, like the guard, she was left outside. So I was like, "Hey, are you with us?" And he's just like, "No,"
Nope.
and knocks him off the bridge.
Throws him off a bridge. He probably falls 100
I know.
stories. Like it's just
Uh,
yeah, it's great. I could do a whole series on K
yeah,
for sure.
it'd be good fun. Like I said, give us that year in between last episode
Yeah.
and this, or this last batch of episodes and this batch of episodes of him and Andor just pulling off missions
Yeah.
together.
I mean, essentially, this episode moved the plot forward
Yeah.
I mean, these 3 episodes are the preamble to Rogue
Mhm.
One. Like,
Yep.
the Andor story is kind of done. We're just
Yep.
kinda setting up
We're
for
just
Rogue One.
basically putting all the last pieces in place
Yeah.
for Rogue
I
One
mean,
to kick
it's
off.
good. It's really well done.
Yeah.
I don't wanna discredit it, and I'll say this about the 3rd episode as well of this series, is like, I mean, it's all good,
Mhm.
but we've really kinda moved beyond it. Like,
Yeah.
I really wish we had gotten to see, even if briefly, what Gorman looks like. Because
Yeah.
it's been the Gorman story
Mhm.
for the last 3 sets of 3.
Yeah.
And they just kinda like, "Okay, well, they lost, and
They
now they're being
lost
mined."
and
I'm
they're
like, I would
being
like to see
yeah.
what the
Like what
the police imperial state of
yeah,
Gorman
what does
is,
Gorman
and
look
I never
like?
got
What
my
happens to that
spider farm.
rebellion?
I never got to see my
You're never
spider
getting your
farm.
Spire Farm, Robert. You're
Ugh,
never getting the
I
Spire
wanted my
Farm.
spider farm. Alright.
So, anyways, we pick right back up with the storming of the
Yep.
building. They're
Season 2,
oh yeah, yep,
episode 12,
yep,
series finale,
yep,
Jedha, Kyber, Erso
yep.
is the name of the episode. Yep.
And so yes, they're taking the building. Firefight breaks out. Um, our guys are pinned down. Though I mean, I guess it's because they were told to take her alive. Might be the only reason this works. Are our guys actually do decent for a little bit before K shows up because like yeah the troopers don't do that great a job. It's like during this like couple of them get shot and killed before
Yeah.
K even shows up, and they do eventually get a concussing grenade in there um and stuff wounding Clea or Clea, there we
Yeah.
go, I can't get it. But wounding her and stuff and disordering
Whole
Cassian.
time, K is just running shot through
Yeah,
this whole place, just
just
destroying
taking
troops.
out
I
troopers.
love it when he gets a gun. I'm like,
Yeah,
yeah.
I also like when it hard. I mean, like I said, that's one thing from this show is realize like everybody who was part of like what I'd call like Partagaz's like crew, like
Yeah.
his group was like all of them just it end tragically for all of them
Yeah.
because yeah,
Oh,
Hart
it's so brutal when K grabs him
yeah
and
picks
then
up
uses
Hart
him
and uses
as
him
a
as a bullet
meat shield.
shield.
I'm just like, "Oh my god, this is
Yeah.
harsh." Like, that's rough, dude.
Yeah.
I love this robot
Mm-hmm.
so much.
Such a great robot.
It's gonna be interesting to watch Rogue One, which I haven't done yet.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone who's watched the
Well,
series
you
and ended
haven't done again yet. Like you have.
correct.
I
I
just
had
want to
seen
make it
Rogue
clear
One.
for everyone you
I had
have
seen
watched
Rogue
Rogue
One
One.
before this.
Yes.
I have not rewatched it. And I'm really surprised that this wasn't like a big buildup and that Disney didn't do a re-release in
Yeah.
theaters, like select, like
Mm-hmm.
not wide, but
Yeah.
select.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
maybe one theater per city or something. Like okay, as a culmination of this weekend. I mean, they could. I mean, they could still do it,
They
but
could still do it.
yeah,
Yeah.
like the weekend of it, just release it. I mean, I guess it's Monday now for
Yeah.
us, but the show came out on Tuesday
Yeah.
of last week. Um, yeah, I'm surprised they didn't build that up or something. But I
Yeah. They
guess you
could
can just
have.
go to Disney Plus and watch it, and
Yeah.
that's really what they want you to
That's
do.
what they want. They want you on their streaming service. There might be
Yeah,
people who yeah
yeah. So yeah, there's a little bit of a firefight, and just yeah, Kay just
just
mops the
decimates
floor.
the whole squadron.
Yeah,
Which I ask, I don't know how expensive these robots are and stuff, but the Empire has all the money in the world. I'm just like, why are stormtroopers even a thing?
yeah.
I'm just like, just fleets of these showing up places.
I mean, that's a problem.
Yeah.
I mean, I'll tell you why. Because I mean, there's such animus towards droids,
Yes.
right? Because this is after the Clone Wars,
Yep.
which was the Separatists was all
It was
droids,
all droids. Yeah, I know.
right? And
Not
the
these
Imperial
droids.
was the
No.
clones, and or the Republic was the clones
Yeah.
and stuff. And after the Clone Wars, there's such a animus, such a racism towards droids.
Yeah,
I mean, you
true.
see it in New Hope, where like they go into Mos Eisley and C-3PO's there, and they're like, "We don't know, get out of here,
Yeah.
droid."
We don't
They've
like
got
your kind here.
sensors that detect droids and sound alarms. Like people do not like droids.
True.
So if
True.
you put droids on the streets as policemen or something
Yeah.
like that, the people are not going to have it because
Yeah.
the droids have been made out to be bad.
Yeah. They're
There's a
big
lot
bad
of
men.
racism towards droids. Yeah,
Yep.
yeah.
Yep.
Um, one thing I'll say is like they're leaving the apartment,
Mhm.
and like the Cassian's buddy is carrying her.
Yeah.
I'm like, there's a droid right there.
Yeah.
He don't get tired,
You
man.
don't get tired.
He could carry her just
He's
as
not
good.
gonna get muscle strain or
I
worry
mean,
about
I
pulling
get that you want
anything.
to have your like your prime weapon like hands
True.
free,
Yeah.
but I'm
Yeah.
also like he's already killed everybody. During this whole thing, there's like the ISB operations are tracking everything
Mhm.
and trying to find backup, but because they did this all points busy bulletin, all the backups busy. But I'm like,
Yeah.
well, that's what the all
Yeah.
points bulletin. You got the target, like that's where
Mhm.
everybody goes.
Just be like, target
Yeah.
located.
I do like there's a just it kind of like skips around, but just to go through the ISB operations thing, there's like this. I don't know who is Nemec that's like doing the speech that Pendergast is listening to.
Cannot remember.
It
That's
seemed
true.
important. It seemed like that was a last season thing, and I just don't remember
Yeah.
it.
I think it was. I'm pretty sure it was in
Yeah.
last season. Yeah.
But basically, they're like, "Okay, you Pendergast, you messed up.
Mhm.
You're under arrest."
Yep.
And then just a
I
an amazingly well done scene, like
yeah.
everything else, where he's like, "Give me a moment,"
Yeah, can I have a moment to collect
and
myself?
then he walks outside, and I love the stormtroopers that are
Yeah.
standing there, and it's like all of a sudden you hear the blaster go
And they
off,
get up, yeah.
and then they kind of like
And the other
jolt
officer
forward.
just puts his hand up like, "No, don't worry
He's like,
about
"Nope,
it."
we're just gonna give him a minute."
Yeah. Well, I think it's yeah, like the other officer knew like they're like I think when Partagas asked for a moment to collect himself, that
Oh,
other
he knew,
officer
he
was
knew.
like, "Yeah, we're not taking him in today,"
Yeah,
like sort of thing. But yeah, like I said, that's like kind of well, we do get to see also where Deidre ends up, but like yeah, that like Pendergast killing himself is kind of like the last domino or the last fall of his cell in the
yeah.
ISB. Like all his
I mean, I
people,
think someone like
Lonnie.
Pendergast, he knew this is how it was gonna end, no matter what. He was just living on borrowed time.
What do you mean? Once Luthen died, or
At period.
like from the get go? You
From the
mean?
get-go.
Really?
When you're at his level in the Empire,
Oh,
you
you mean
know
like one day? Yeah, no matter what.
one
Not like
day.
okay. I thought you were saying like
Yeah.
from the beginning of the show, he knew he was going to be dying at
No, no,
with
no,
stuff.
no, no,
But
no.
no, I get what you're saying. Like
From the
yeah,
moment he took that position, he was like, "Well, the last guy.
yeah.
This is what happened." And the
There
guy before him and the guy before him
like there are very few people who
retire.
exactly retire in the Empire. So yeah, I get what you're saying.
Yeah.
But
Crazy times. So let's kick to Yavin.
yep. Let's be the
Uh
Yavin.
we
Where
got Mon and a contingent of the council,
I
including
like.
Val Organa, meeting with Saw.
Yeah, I really like the actress playing Mon got her hair and
Oh yeah,
like
she got that short hair.
she got the look of the what Mon's gonna look like in the future. I was like, okay, getting some
She
connections.
got to prep for her cameo in a couple of weeks when she shows up in New Hope.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, I love that Saw is now he's all messed up. He's got
yeah.
his breathing
But
suit
we don't.
going.
Once again, like I said, just like last time we saw Saul, he wasn't messed up. Now he is. I'm like,
Something's happened in the last
exactly. Like
year, yeah.
I just love that. It's one of those things. Like it's a weird thing. I know I've put it on top, but just the way this series is shot, it's like, yeah, just you don't need to know all the story. Like stuff happened while you weren't here, sort of thing. Like we're watching this show, and it was like, oh no, stuff's been happening
Yeah.
and stuff.
And this is really the episode where they're really strongly. I mean, this whole episode,
Is yeah
more than just this set of 3 is like this is just a setup to
to
Rogue
Rogue
One.
One.
Like there
Yeah.
is nothing that's going to happen in here that is not part of getting us to the beginning of Rogue One,
Yeah.
which is it's kind of a soft landing as far as the end of a series is concerned, but it's
Mm-hmm.
not really the end of the series because the real end of the series is Rogue One.
Yes. Yes.
It's weird.
Yeah.
It's a very interesting situation to be in
Mm-hmm.
that both works. If like
I
if
mean,
Rogue One didn't exist, it'd be like, "Oh my
I don't know.
god, we
This
got
would
to
be a
wait for a movie."
disaster.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I do just like because I mean that's I feel like and I hope this will for a lot of people. Because that's the thing is, Rogue One. I know me and you and like some of my friends I've talked to, like we all love Rogue One.
There's a
Great
lot of I've
movie.
been listening to a lot of podcasts that where they're talking about Rogue One was not the greatest.
Mm.
And I'm in agreement that Rogue One is not necessarily the greatest Star Wars property, but it's pretty high up there.
Yeah, no, I'm not saying
It's
it's the
certainly
best thing,
better
and it's
than
better than any of the
it's
prequel
better than the
or the sequel
prequels or
trilogy.
the sequels
Yeah.
for sure.
So
Yeah.
that's why I think I'm like, compared to what has come along with Rogue One, since
Yeah.
the other stuff, I'm like, it's the best of what we've
I mean,
gotten.
Rogue One's got its problems. Like
No, it
the
does.
blind Jedi monk
Yeah,
guy. It's
yeah.
like, there's
It
problems
has its
there.
issues, but at
Yeah.
least it's good.
Yeah.
But
I
yeah, I'm hoping that this series will at least get some more people because I know there's plenty of people who skipped over Rogue One or didn't want to take the time or wrote it off, and I'm like, hey, give it another
yeah.
shot
Yeah.
because
All right, we're running out of time. We gotta stay on target. We
yeah,
gotta
yeah,
stay on target. Stay on target.
let's wrap.
We get Cass and team. They're coming back to Yavin.
They get
More
grounded.
more good. K.
Yeah.
Comic relief. He's
Hmm.
like, I'm gonna just tell them that I was kidnapped.
Yeah.
Kind of just fantastic. He delivers the intel. But the
they
council is questioning it. They don't necessarily believe it, which I
yeah.
think is kind of dumb.
Yeah. I'm like, what?
Like he
They one of the things they
Cassian's
kind of
a trusted
well,
person,
yeah, but
and
they don't. It's not they don't believe Cassian. It's
they
that
don't believe. Yeah, they don't
they don't
believe
believe
Luthen.
Luthen, and they kind of even do like, well, maybe he got turned to the Empire, and I'm like, and it's one thing that Cassian points out, and it's one thing that he says to Val, which gets her Vel. I mean, that also gets her to realize it's like you're talking about like Luthen is kind of the dude who started all this. He's been funding a lot of this. He's put together all this. This rebellion would not exist without him, and you think he's the one who would betray us?
Well, also, I mean, it is super stupid because
That
on one hand, you knew the Gorman thing was happening,
yeah,
right? And you just talked to Saw,
yeah.
who's on Jedha,
Mhm.
right?
And they
You may
also
not
even
know.
admit that they knew that the lie that the Emperor was spinning of, "Oh, this is about a power project that we need,"
Yeah,
Like, they didn't know it was a super one, but they when he says, like, "Yeah, the Gorman thing and the power, that's all a lie," like, "Yeah, we know that." I'm like, "Okay, well, if you know it's a lie, then when he says, 'Yeah, they're building a super weapon,' you'd be like, 'Okay, that makes sense,'" sort of thing,
yeah.
like
They may not know who Galen Orso is,
yeah.
right? Which Galen Orso is the father
Yes.
of the character from Rogue One
Yes.
who designed the Death Star and put
Mhm.
in the flaw and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But, like, it all fits.
Mhm.
It all fits, and also, I feel like there'd be more, like, interesting things happening in the creation of the Death Star.
Yeah.
There'd be a lot of resources pouring into one sector and, like, all that, and, yeah, it's just crazy that they
They
I mean, I get that you
write
need
it
to have a
off.
certain level of skepticism,
Yeah.
but given the messenger and that Luthen's
The
dead
Luthen died and
and that you got Saw and, you got Gorman and all it's like,
mhm.
I'd look at it and be like, I'm they seem kinda more 50-50. I'd be
Yeah.
more like 70-30, maybe
Yeah.
80-20 on it,
Exactly.
like
Which someone is, and that's
yeah,
Mon Mothma.
yeah,
I mean, one is because he had her personal relationship with Luthen. She knew them. She knew a lot of the people she worked with. She knows Cassian. So she goes to Vel and says, "Hey, I want you to hear him out and tell me what you think." And Cassian basically convinces her, like, "You know Luthen. You know
yeah,
what he fought for and stuff." Which and that's enough to get the leadership
yeah,
to actually take it
yeah.
seriously. Um,
So we've got, Clea in the infirmary,
yeah.
but she's kinda holding it together. Did we know that Vel was Mon Mothra's cousin?
Yeah, we've done this for a long time.
Okay.
There's multiple in the first season and even in the second
I
season.
just didn't remember. I
Yeah.
didn't remember.
I even pointed out like at the beginning because at the beginning of this season, when they're at the wedding, Vel has because in the first season she has blonde hair. And this season she has red hair, and I was like, yeah, I even pointed out in one of our earlier episodes, I was like, Vel, they made her get red hair so she looks more like she's related to Mon
Yeah.
Mothra now.
But Mon sends Vale to basically vet
Yeah,
the
exactly. Yeah.
info. They have like the toast for the dead with
Hmm.
Cassian and all that stuff. While that's happening, a message comes in, and they're like, "Well, we won't tell anybody." But Andor, what the message is basically saying, "Hey,
Yeah.
come to
Come
Jeddah,
to Jeddah.
get started on Rogue One."
Yeah.
Um, we get some we get a scene where Ball Organa is talking to Cass and he says, "May the force be with you." And my
Hmm.
immediate thought was, keep your
Yeah.
Jedi and your Force out of my
I was
everyman
just
show.
like, I was just
How
like,
dare you?
I also was thinking, like, why are you saying it? Like, you're not a Force user, and I'm not. Even if you believe in the Force, still, I just like it's a like, why are you saying it? We don't need this here.
We
Oh,
get a pretty medium end montage, which really isn't the quite end, but we get a
yeah.
montage where it shows all the characters and what they're doing,
Mm-hmm.
and
And
there's
this is
like
where we get to see that Deidre is in the exact same prison that
but she's
Andor is.
alive.
Yeah,
Is there
she's
going to be a
alive.
Deidre show?
I doubt it.
She doesn't show up in Rogue One.
No, she doesn't. I think she's just in prison.
Well, why didn't they show us that? I need closure on Deidre.
She's in prison. That's the closure.
She was in interrogation, right?
No. The
Oh,
last
she was
scene
in
we
the
see of her
prison.
is in the same prison that Andor was
Oh,
in.
okay.
And
I didn't
they
catch it.
basically like
Fair
she's
enough.
sitting
Yeah.
there, and then the lights turn off, and like she quickly lifts up her feet into her little
Oh, I didn't
pod.
know. I didn't catch all that, but I
Yeah.
get you. Okay.
She's literally where
Yeah, she's
Andor
screwed
was.
now.
Yeah. Like I said.
She's building the second Death Star
Yeah.
for
I
the
mean,
for episode
so I mean,
7.
depending on how you look at it, comparative to everybody else who's part of Gadget's retinue or whatever, like she's the only one alive, so she survived.
Yeah. A fate worse than death.
Yeah, I know. I was like,
Um,
depending on how you look at it.
I also didn't like that while Cass is walking to his ship to go to Rogue One,
Mm-hmm.
is he sees the Force healer
Yeah.
lady, and she like looks at him like she knows that he's going to his death because she's
Mm-hmm.
seen his future kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Um,
Still, we get.
Krennic looking at Death Star, that was pretty cool.
Yeah.
But I
Yeah.
feel like it this is I assume this is all taking place at the exact same moment,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm like, that Death Star is not going to be ready in a couple of weeks when it's needed because you don't have like the big disc
Yeah.
for the super weapon on there. I'm like, that's gonna need to be used in a couple of
Yeah.
days. Like you're not there yet. Um, and then we cut to the farm planet
Yeah.
where Bix is there,
I did
and
not
she
like
has
this.
a baby.
I hated it. Like
It was
I
unnecessary for me.
exactly. For me, I was like just the thought because like my whole thing is like so we know Andor's fate and just the there honestly no this is nothing against actress. This is just like if the bigger impact for me with Bix was when she left and her saying when this is all over we'll be together again
Hmm.
because knowing that that's never going to happen because Andor,
Yeah,
we know he's dying, and that was it. That was the bittersweet for me, and that's the last time I needed to see Bix.
that gives
This
it an
didn't
impact.
add anything other than to be like you forced a baby into the scenario where now it's like okay, well that's a child who'll never meet his father, who never know anything about him, and it's like that doesn't add anything. It's just more of us like womp womp.
Yeah,
I
it
don't
wasn't
know.
yeah, it wasn't like Andor was fighting for the future of his child because
Yeah,
he doesn't
he
know
doesn't
about
even
the
know.
child,
Yeah,
and it softens the sacrifice for me
yeah, exactly.
because he doesn't know, and if it would have been a stronger death and at the end of Rogue One
Yeah.
if he doesn't have a kid
Mm-hmm.
because that's just the end.
Yeah.
He was a person.
Yep.
He lived a terrible life because he was oppressed by this thing,
Mm-hmm.
and he
He
died.
gave everything and died, and
And he
then
was just a man,
yeah,
just a
exactly.
singular man. But now that he has a baby out
Mm-hmm.
there,
His story lives on with his son. And
it's
it's just
I don't
yeah.
like it. I
No,
don't
no,
like it.
I'm right there with you too. That like
Yeah.
when this scene happened, like so it was funny because we like I said we get that great kind of montage. Then he gets from the thing with K, and they fly off into Rogue One, and then like it went black for a second, and I was like, okay, we're done. Then when it showed the farm planet, I was like, what's going on here? And then I saw Biggs from the back, and at first, like, okay, we're just like, she's just gonna be looking off to the sun. But then the more I watched, like, before they spun the camera, and I could tell, I was like, no, she's holding something. I was like, don't, she's not. I was just like, she's not holding a baby. Is he? Please don't be holding a baby. And then they turn the camera on, and I'm like, yep, it's a baby. And I was just like, thanks. It just, like I said, it's just like it doesn't add the impact of his sacrifice and their relationship and all stuff had already happened. And so this didn't add anything to it other than just like I said, it's just like meh. And
Yeah.
I was
Yeah,
very
I mean, it's
frustrated with it.
fine.
It's
It's
fine,
fine,
but
but it wasn't the best choice. But, I mean, you gotta make a choice, and the writers did what they wanted to do, and maybe
yeah,
Disney stepped in and be like, "We need hope,"
yeah.
or something like that,
We
but,
have hope. It's
it's
called the Star Wars
fine.
franchise. we all
Um,
we all know how this story
anyway,
ends.
great series, even though it's 2 seasons.
Yeah.
I hope whoever was in charge of this gets to go on to do something else in the Star Wars universe, or maybe the
I
MC.
hope
Anything.
a lot of the
This blank check
actors
to
and
this person
actresses that
in any major franchise.
yes.
Let him do. Let I shouldn't say him. Let them do their thing.
Yep.
Go
And
into the nitty gritty of the bureaucracy and the everyman of a larger universe. I would love to see something like this in the
mhm.
MCU, um, or Star Trek. Like
Yeah.
so many places, I would love to see something like this.
Yep.
Just great.
Fantastic. I yeah, this is just such a great series. And going all the way back to the very first season when it was announced, I would not have my mind was like, I'm not really yeah, let's see what Andor
Who
doing
cares
guy.
about Cassian Andor?
Exactly.
Yeah.
And for this to turn out to be just the best series that they've made, yeah, just fantastic.
If
Very
not
well
just like
done.
one of the greatest shows ever made.
Mhm.
I mean,
Mhm.
definitely up there.
Yeah.
I don't know if top 10,
Yeah, yeah. But
but
it's on the
top
list.
50.
Yeah.
Top 50, I would say.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Mhm.
top yeah. I mean, I don't want to take the time to try and figure it out, but I'd say top 50. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, amazing. Great sci-fi.
Yeah.
Um, that's the show. If you liked it, you should check out our website, watchinitpod.com. There you'll find links to our social media and to email us at watchinitpodcast@gmail.com. Send us an email with your thoughts on Andor.
Mhm. Mhm.
Donnell, what else should they do?
Yeah, I mean, yeah. Send us your thoughts on Andor. Send us your thoughts if you're gonna watch Rogue One again. I would love, as me and Robert have already displayed many, if you have any ideas of bureaucracy. I don't know, just the
Bureaucracy.
bureaucracy in the Star Wars universe that you'd like to see. I'd love to hear other people's, ideas because I think, like I said, there's a ton there. Ruling a galactic empire is a huge undertaking. Like I said, I would love,
I want to get smaller, man. I want to see that droid bar.
yeah,
I would see.
well, no,
I would watch Mos Eisley.
yeah, but no, one I would love a real like high stakes like drama about
Ooh.
the flight control of Coruscant. Just like the life these
Yeah,
people are
yeah,
having,
yeah,
just
yeah.
the stress and watching them as they try to manage their lives, as they have this job that is just always just overbearing and own them. Like, yeah, give me that. Give me I want the guy getting out of work and just going home and just
You
drowning
know,
himself
have you ever
in
seen
blue milk.
Babylon 5?
Not all of it, but
Oh, it's
I've
so
watched some
good. It's
Babylon
so good.
5.
But one of my favorite episodes of Babylon 5 is the IT guys,
Mm-hmm.
where they're just like it's none of the main characters are in it, but it's not about them.
Yeah.
It's about two engineers like O'Briens,
Yeah.
just like wandering around the station fixing problems and working tickets. Like there's a big battle going on and they're like working on the console of the chair of the main guy.
Yeah.
And then like they take a lunch break and they're just sitting there looking out the window at this big space battle, just being like, oh, like how do you, it's like, oh, there was one of ours, there was one of theirs. It's like, how do you know? It's like, well, the gases in theirs, they show green when they blow up and ours show red. And it's just like, it's just fantastic.
Yeah.
They're just doing a job
Yeah.
while these major galactic things are happening.
Yeah.
And it's, yeah, I just more of that.
Give
more
us that.
Of that.
So if you have any ideas for that, let us know. Not that we have any pool to get it done, but
Yeah.
I'd love to hear about it.
We like the discussion. That's what we're here to talk about,
yeah.
is the discussion.
And then as always, give us any rated reviews, 5 stars, and thanks so much for listening. Bye.